no flesh be justified in his sight. You remember we read that. For by the law is the knowledge of sin. But now the righteousness of Yahweh without the law is manifested, being witnessed by the law and the prophets. Even the righteousness of Yahweh, which is by faith of Yahshua the Messiah, unto all and upon all them that believe. For there is no difference. For all have sinned and come short of the glory of Yahweh. So that whole there is none righteous. The Bible is no lie. 1 John chapter 3, verses 7 through 12. I'm going to prove to you. Little children, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteous is righteous. Did you hear that? There is none righteous. But there's none righteous. That's not what the scripture is talking about. He's talking about in your flesh, you're not righteous. You're not in right standing with the Father in your flesh. But there's none righteous. That's not what it's talking about. It says here, he that doeth righteous is righteous, even as he is righteous. He that committeth sin is of the devil, for the devil sinneth from the beginning. See, there's that seed. He that has a righteous seed does righteous things. He that is from the devil does what the devil does. That's the difference in the seeds, okay? It says here, for this purpose the Son of Yahweh was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil. Whosoever is born of Yahweh doth not commit sin, for his seed remaineth in him, and he cannot sin because he is born of Yahweh. You heard that, right? Okay. In this the children of Yahweh are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever doth not righteousness is not of Yahweh, neither hath he loved, neither he that loveth not his brother. For this is the message that ye heard from the beginning, that we should love one another, not as Cain. And I put that in there because you need to understand that love is the essential part of being free from sin. Not as Cain, who was that wicked one, who was of that wicked one and slew his brother. And wherefore slew he him? And wherefore slew he him? In other words, why did he slew him? Why did he slay him? Because his own works were evil and his brother's righteous. Why do these preachers slay you in the pulpit? Because they're evil. Their own works are evil. So no, they're not going to teach you how to be free from sin, because if you learn that freedom from sin is a possibility, then you'll see them and you'll see their mess and you'll say, hey, something ain't right. So how do they cover up their mess? By teaching you that all sin, there's none righteous. Our righteousness is as filthy rags. That's the next one. Isaiah 64 speaks of that. That's where they got that from. But Isaiah 64 speaks of the awesomeness of Yahweh and his mighty power among all those who oppose him, those who are wicked. This is what it says. Isaiah 64:6. But we are all as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness, meaning not with him, apart from him, all our righteousness that we think we could possess, is as filthy rags. And we all do fade as a leaf, and our iniquities, like the wind, have taken us away. So our righteousness is as filthy rags. That does not refer to the righteousness the Father gives you through salvation, but that anything you could possibly come up with on your own outside of the Father is filthy, flat out. What you would consider in your flesh to be the right thing, he doesn't consider that. He considers it filth. He knows what he deems righteous. He sets the bar. He sets the standards. It's not man's standards, it's the Father's standards. So those that live by the Father's standards are righteous. Those that don't are of the devil. Plain and simple. So the whole we fall down but we get up mentality is bull crap. Okay? That whole a saint being a sinner. Yes, it does say a righteous man falleth 7 times and he gets back up. But they attach that to a saint is just a sinner. They attach that to the mindset of we supposed to keep falling down and getting back up because we're saints who are also sinners. Foolishness and poppycock. The use of hopeless music is another attempt of the enemy to cloud your mind, to deceive you, to beguile you, as he did in the garden. Sounds great from a musical standpoint, yeah, but the lyrics are garbage. They oppose scripture. And this is what people use to discuss their position. This is what they use to discuss their sin lifestyle, or to validate their sin lifestyle. We're sinners saved by grace. No, we're not. We're not a saint and a sinner. That's foolishness. That means the work is not completed. Well, God is sovereign. If he brings you into it or brings you to it, he can bring you through it. Yahweh doesn't test his people. We've already discussed that. Every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Okay. He makes away with the temptation. We've explained that. Fulfilling the lust of the flesh is what you're doing when you give in to that temptation. When you're drawn away of your own lust and enticed, that's you fulfilling. You are going to get in a position where you're going to fulfill the lust of the flesh. I am come that you might have life. This is what the Messiah said. This is what Yahshua said. The enemy cometh but for to kill, steal, and destroy. That's John 10:10. He said, but I am come, that you might have life. What does that mean? That means if you don't choose it, then you won't have it. But you might have it. But that's if you choose it. Might meaning permission is given for you to have it, but you have to accept it. Okay? Freedom is only in the Messiah and the new covenant which the Father establishes with all men who would desire relationship with him. The new covenant is love. Okay? The old covenant modified to the taste of religion to teach man how to win their salvation versus receive it and maintain it. There's a huge difference between religion. And what is religion? It's this whole concept of taking all the things out of paganism and all of these other places, and even taking some of the things out of the covenant between the Father and Israel and turning those into mandatory things so that you could teach man how to win salvation. Well, you don't win salvation. Salvation is a free gift, but you have to maintain it. There's a difference between receiving it and maintaining it and trying to win it. See, trying to win it is stuff like purgatory, praying for the dead, you know, paying for Yahweh's attention and blessings. Oh, pay your tithes or you're going to be cursed with a curse. That's a whole nother story. I got enough videos up on that, and we're going to do a whole full series on giving and that kind of thing shortly. But you can't win the Father's blessing. If you're in relationship with him, you already have his blessing. That's a choice, though. This whole, well, artifacts, we're walking around with crosses on your necks and tattooing crosses in your arm. And, you know, all of this foolishness is not of the Father, okay? And it is not the same as receiving and maintaining your salvation. The fallacy that you can be set free, that you cannot be set free, freedom from sin is a fantasy, will always be the lie that liars and sinners tell, okay? We will always sin. That's what they say. That's a lie. Sin is a choice for a believer. Sin is a choice for those who desire a relationship with the Father. Adam's effect on mankind versus Yahushua. We're talking about two different seeds here. Adam instituted this seed that reproduced after its own kind, called sin. But here comes Yahushua to make a new seed available. This is the sin of the seed of the righteous, restoring you back to right relationship with the Father. So the rejection of Israel and the Jewish nation of the Messiah, giving up self, sin, and idolatry. Why did he reject them? Because they wanted to sin. They couldn't give up their self. That's what religion was about. That's what the whole Nimrod and all that stuff that followed him was about. It was about self. It was about making you feel good. It was about idol worship. So deception is thick. Satan in the garden, thou shalt not surely die. That's what he told Eve. Do what thou wilt. That's the whole of man. That's the whole of the law. That's Aleister Crowley and that whole mentality of do what you want. That's that Gnostic view. Do whatever makes you feel good, because you know what? Once you're saved, you're always saved. Eternal security, foolishness, humanism, TV shows, Oprah. She's the queen of that. And all the people that follow her, quote unquote Christians. Yeah, Christians follow her because Christians are confused. They're in a religion. They're not in relationship. Any popular figure that tells you something, you're just following it around. Can't find it in the scripture. There's a difference between knowing the truth and knowing what people say is the truth. Big difference. Let's go to Romans chapter 6, verse 2. We're going to wrap it up. He says, how shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? Now, what does this word dead mean? It means not alive, no longer alive. Having or displaying no emotion, no sensitivity. You know how somebody pokes a person that's paralyzed in the arm? You can't feel that, right? Okay, so how shall we that are dead to sin live any longer therein? Well, if you're dead to it, you don't have the cessation of it anymore. You're numb to it. You're no longer current, or it's no longer a relevant thing, okay? It's no longer something that you are active in or excited about. No longer being used.